Evening all, welcome to Kicking Dust. And this is just another stomp, an absolute bloodbath, pretty much. And let's continue our narrative of what's going on. I think it's been a good few days now since FanFest, and I don't know what you feel, but there seems to be obviously still a lot of talk and discussion about it. It's interesting because there is kind of that polarization of the two communities, or rather one community into two now, which is going to be, yay, Legion, and oh no, Legion. I think that's kind of the split as I see it. But again, I'm not getting involved with all that. I am. Look at that, the door shut. You see that? The bloody texture pop. And that's a good example because that's really bad. That shouldn't happen. And I think that is a prime example of maybe where obviously it needed to move on. Now I'm not saying if that should be the PC or shouldn't be the PC. I think the PS3. It seems to do quite a good job, but I've always thought that it's a little bit underpowered. When particularly with this map, I don't know if you've had this, but if you play this map, particularly with Ambush, eventually. You find that this just lags the hell out, and all of a sudden the textures aren't there, and there's a massive lag spike, and apparently that's not necessarily the net code. Look at me being technical. It's actually the system. The PS3 hardware can't handle the vast quantity of equipment and all that stuff. So I think that has been very obvious for some time that it needed to move on if it was going to survive. I think moving it to the PC is probably the easy thing they could have done. Okay, that's just them taking the easy path, because PC and the way you program PC is all nice and simple. You program it on the PC and it plays on the PC. So there's a lot of testing going on. Whereas I think they're probably building this again on PC currently, but then deploying it onto the PS3. So testing and the QR side of it, or QA side of it, is probably not the best. So that would maybe mean a much more kind of stable game potentially, but I think also it just changes the severity of the game as well. My biggest fear is that the way Hilmar kept using the word serious business every slide he had, that was his little moniker, and my little moniker, my little imprint to FanFest this year was the word bollocks to serious business, because I don't want serious business. This is a game. And if you've ever watched Yahtzee, he does the Zero Punctuation web series. If you don't know who he is, oh my dudes, you have got so much entertainment coming up. Go and Google Zero Punctuation and watch his videos, because he reviews video games and he's brilliant. He's a master at it. And he did the best review of Eve I've ever seen, which basically just said this is a second job for people who are on the corporate ladder and are emotionally dead. And that is probably not a million miles away from me and everybody else who I knew who played Eve when I watched it. And I fear, really, really fear that that's what's going to happen, is you're going to have big communities, come into Eve Legion, and they're just going to think that it's I don't know, some super serious things. If you watched Eve Fest, you saw a lot of very middle-aged, podgy men who use Eve as their reason to, I don't know, feel good about themselves, maybe. You certainly use Eve as their relaxation tool. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it wasn't who I would say I picture most Dust players to be. I picture most Dust players to be much more casual gamers who laugh at things a bit easier. Yeah, they're easy and probably quite emotional motive players. It's well, fuck you, bro, you killed me. But Eve isn't like that. Eve people hunt down anybody who gets ragey or angry because they've just lost their ship, and they just poke them continually. What was it somebody said at the Alliance Panel Fest? Let's keep winding him up and abusing him till he kills himself. Yeah, that's Eve for you dudes. and that's the community that's going to grow from this game. If it goes to, it obviously that it will go to PC, so it's going to be a pretty tough time. And I think, quite honestly, it's going to be tough, very tough, for a lot of Dusties who are familiar with the type of gameplay to move to that. I think certainly some of the alliances in Dust at the moment are going to be eaten fucking alive by the culture of the Eve players, because I've made comments in the past about certain corps, and it's all been done in a little bit of tongue-in-cheek manner. I respect everybody that I've spoken about. And I kind of do these videos as a bit of fun. I'm not poking fun at anyone, and I never do, because I'm not that kind of guy. I'm actually not. I promise you I'm not. But the reaction that we got from a number of these corps was one of quite, frankly, moral indignation and anger. And the problem is that that's fine doing it to me because I'm no one. You do this to some of the corps or the alliances in Eve, and they're going to come for you. And they will not be happy until you have been destroyed. And they have enjoyed and hacked hacked your forums. They've got all of your mails. They've got everything that they can just keep poking fun at you, because it is merciless alpha male, jock culture. And I think people have no clue what's in line for them when it comes to Legion. I don't think it'll be as bad. I'm obviously giving you the worst case scenario. It won't be this bad, but there is always going to be this kind of potential changing of cultures that I think maybe some people haven't thought of yet. And Eve becoming, Legion becoming an Eve-aligned product is pretty much guaranteeing that most people in Eve will try it. Okay, I don't know if it's going to be for free. I've no idea. I would imagine that Legion would be free, though, with microtransactions, because the sub-model is stupid, and it's a dead, dying model that I just think CCP have no choice. If CCP could find a way to move away from the sub-model, they would, but I guarantee you there is no way, that because they're making so much money from it still. But one day it will have to be changed, because people just don't. Nobody wants to sub to play a game anymore. I don't play Eve because I don't want to pay money for it. I'm not that rich. Seriously, I'm not. And I don't want to sub 15 accounts ever again. It's like just subbing one is a big issue for me at the moment. Not for any other reason. I just don't see the value of it. So this is the problem, is that it's such a limiter to people playing a game. Whereas Dust is free, I never have to worry about it. But I spend probably more money on Dust than a sub would have cost me anyway, because I like boosters, I like the idea of them, I like some of the Aurum stuff, I like to try some of it. So to me, that model works perfectly well, and I think it's even fair to say that CCP prefer that model. So I think Legion very, very likely, almost like 90% certainty, will be free to play again. As Dust is, because it just makes sense. I think there's a lot of stuff really yet that we just don't know about. There's still a lot of stuff that CCP themselves just don't know about either. Who knows? Literally, who knows what on earth is going to happen with this whole product, with this whole shindig that's going on at the moment. I don't know either. I mean, as a YouTuber, it's fun to sit in the sidelines and watch and comment on it, but I have no preference either way. I did debate whether or not we should take a stance in one way or another, because usually we do. I mean, God, look at some of the emotive videos we've done in the past. Wow. But I decided with this whole thing, I'm just not going to do it, because I'm sad that we're going to lose the spirit of this game more than anything else, because the spirit of this game is good, and I love this game's energy, its passion, its community, and it's a fun, crazy community, and we troll each other. We have fun with each other, but I don't feel that it was a damaging relationship. Whereas Legion's going to be a different a different ball game, a different everything, and that makes me sad. It does. It makes me really sad, because I would love to. I would love to have seen more of the Legion stuff in Dust before they swapped over, if I'm honest. I thought they would probably get to PvE, player traded market, and things like that, and then switch over. But it just looks like they're designing Legion from the get-go to be the replacement. And I think that's the truth as far as I see it. Okay, so I don't know. That's just my opinion. It's not sad times. I think, when you look at certain games and how long they last generally anyway, I think, Dust has had a good run of a year. It could well be 2-3 years before the time it's switched off. So I don't think people should see it as maybe a very, very big negative right now. It's obviously not going to motivate many people to continue playing the way they have, but I don't think you should let that kind of really put you off entirely, just continuing to play the game. Because, I mean, we've had loads of people say to us, are you just still going to make videos? Are you not going to bother now? I was like, well, of course we're going to keep making videos, because we're still playing the game. It's still not a very big deal just to throw that into then a video at the end of the week and then have your week's daily Dust. I don't have there's still no issue doing that at all. And I think that we will continue to keep doing that until we feel the need to, move on. And I think if we do, it will be to Legion because we love the IP. We don't have a choice. I mean, let's be very clear on that point. I love this game, and if the only future of this game is Legion, I kind of have got to go that way. But I'm going to be quite critical of CCP, the whole process of this. And I think I'm going to be quite critical of the way that they've handled it, because I think there's just much better ways to do how they did it. There we go. Got stomped by the beer guys. You always get me. But again, the games are good. The fun is still there. I don't see why people would give up at this particular moment yet. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.